blood pressure. Self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
DPGM. What are you going to do to Caleb Williams? What are you going to do? You going to draft him?
No.
You're not going to draft him?
No, I don't. Here's my thing. I don't want anybody going. I'm not going to bring poison into my program because that's what it would be. He's letting you know he's poison. He's venom. Why would I put poison in my own soup?
Maybe you think you're a mongoose. You can't.
I have zero.
You're a mongoose. You can take the Cobra venom.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
So he can maybe run. So like speed option, those things. All you want to do.
Speed. I can't see him.
It's also. Oh, look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
just
now.
Calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be parentheses or
too many commas over there.
Too many
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Old School with DP and J.
DPGM. What are you going to do to Caleb Williams? What are you going to do? You going to draft him?
No.
You're not going to draft him?
No, I don't. Here's my thing. I don't want anybody going. I'm not going to bring poison into my program because that's what it would be. He's letting you know he's poison. He's venom. Why would I put poison in my own soup?
Maybe you think you're a mongoose. You can't.
I have zero.
You're a mongoose. You can take the Cobra venom.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future.
we're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Discover a healthier, happier you with Weight Loss Professional Nutrition. We are not about quick fixes, but real, sustainable change. With our advanced nutrition plans, expertly designed by our certified nutritionists, we're with you at every step on your weight loss journey. Step into the world of well-being with Weight Loss Professional Nutrition, where we believe in the power of smart diet choices. Visit weightlossprofessionalnutrition.com today or call 800-597-3991 to get 30% off your first month and start your transformation. A new you is just a click away, or a call to 800-597-3991.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Ticket Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, DP, streaming in, as well as always on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. We got Haas DeBreezy as well, calling in, again, once again, from the Allo VIP line. Haas, how's it going, man?
Great. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday to you as well, and to all our listeners out there. Again, if you guys ever want to join the show, Sartor Heyman text line, that's 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961. Again, that's 961 all the way across Nebraska, statewide as well. So if you got Allo cable, you got the ticket content. But Haas, on this cold Sunday, at least down here in Nebraska, freezing temps. So again, if you're listening, be safe out there. The roads are pretty much all still ice. When it's this cold, that ice melts, pretty ineffective. But Haas, it's been a wild weekend of sports. We had some NFL playoffs already. Obviously, we see Michigan raise the trophy for the college football championship, some wrestling as well. Where do you want to start with it?
So, Lincoln, let's take a moment and pause. Take a moment and reflect. There's so much that's happened in the last 10, 6, 8 months in Lincoln. And even in the last week, so much has happened. And what's really cool being a part of the ticket, I get to see a lot more here from the DMV. That's the Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland area. And I followed Nebraska basketball partly because of Sam Hoiberg coming on the Breeze and filling in for me when I had to go coach an AAU tournament. And first of all, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Sam Hoiberg, but he seems like such a good dude. So watching Huskers hoops do what they did this week, that is so cool. That is legendary stuff. That is the stuff where you bring in 92,000 into a stadium and you elevate women's sports. To take a program, to beat a number one, that's greatness, dude. And it's so cool to have that. Let me just start with that right there. What was it like for you or DT in the arena?
Yeah, I was there even before tip-off. It started to feel different. The Purdue fans that came in met some resistance, which isn't always the case when you're the number one team on the road and coming into a place that you normally win in. Like, okay, we normally come in here and get a dub, so leave us alone, get in line, and prepare for this beatdown. But there was resistance, and the fans brought a different kind of energy. Now, they're still trying to figure out, this is what it is about Lincoln, Nebraska. They're still trying, when it comes to basketball, they're still trying to get out of the, oh, here it goes. Here comes the familiar Nebraska breakdown. But they never got it. There was resistance to Purdue. There was resistance to the norm, and it's a different roster this year. It's a different makeup. Yeah, there's some familiars in Sam Hoiberg and Keisei Tamanaga. Juwan Gary was here last year but didn't get to finish because of injury. You got to see Jamarcus Lawrence and what he brings to the table. But the added value this season is energy and its purpose. And to have Josiah Allick come out and do what he did, to have Rink Mast, the Mastodon, doing his big thing against the number one player in the country and giving him the business, outplayed him from tip to horn. But you're right. Sam Hoiberg is everything that you would imagine he is, everything that he is portrayed to be, that he's been loyal to the game, his family, the university, and the fan base. He's come and done. He's done show for 2 years on the station. And a lot of that was at a time when the name Sam Hoiberg didn't resonate the way it does now, because he's put in the work and changed himself and he's elevated himself. So, yeah, the thing about Lincoln, Nebraska, what's happening now, and it extends forward to softball with Jordy Ball being in the room. It's pretty exceptional times. And yeah, even if they don't win national titles, it still doesn't mean that you can't emotionally invest in Nebraska athletics. It's a fun time to be a Husker, and it was a great night to be a Nebraska Cornhusker.
Yeah, I had the opportunity. Obviously, we had the post-game show here as well. Shout out to Eric Strickle and Jake Bachman for doing a great job on that one. And yeah, I was just sitting there with Bach, and as it got closer, you kind of talked about some of the Nebraska fans waiting for, when is this fall going to happen? It never happened. And multiple times me and Bach had to look at each other like, oh my God, it's happening. Because Bach, I know he's a big basketball fan. I have been breathing for this Husker basketball program to be doing well for so long. Unfortunately, no too many Creighton fans, so it's been a long road through the journey. But that was such a big momentum win for Nebraska. I understand it's maybe not guaranteeing you're going to win championships anytime soon, but if you ever want to get into that conversation, you have to elevate the bar. And that was a win that was historical. You can go back to the Fred Hoiberg's own history with his great grandfather doing it at one point in time for Nebraska. There were so many storylines in that game. And then for each individual player to have their own unique storylines, Sam Hoiberg with the steal, CJ Wilcher, who was just on Speed and Power with Megan Walker the night before, he comes into the game, immediately starts draining threes. Not easy, open threes, contested, no problem there. You talked about Rink Mast, says, all right, Zach Edey, these first few possessions, we're going to go one-on-one, and we're going to see who the better player is. And Rink Mast, I think that made Edey right away have to second guess his play style a little bit there, because Rink Mast called a little bit European ball, but he's got a nice shoulder fake. He pulled that off against Iowa, but he went to work immediately, stretching him out, shooting the ball, and the list just goes on. Even a guy like Jamarcus Lawrence didn't play his best game, but didn't make any big mistakes either. Played within the team. Everyone knows about Keisei Tamanaga, how fun he is to watch. And overall, it was just a really good group effort. And I still think, I understand they lost to Iowa, but I still think this team, as they continue to kind of gel together, I still got high expectations for this team. And I think most of Lincoln should as well, because I know their expectations are high. And I think we should be step in step with them, believing in this team. They can have some pretty high goals this season. Haas, were you able to watch the Keisei Tamanaga from yours? I'm sure you got all the highlights from him versus that Purdue game. It was a fun game for all those to get a quick update on Nebraska basketball.
So DP has said a lot about him. I've seen him play, and obviously there's a Curry connection there with the number and the mentoring that DP has mentioned to me. And is it proper to call him the Japanese Curry? Like, is that appropriate? Is that something he would like? Like, what nicknames does he like?
Well, that falls in line. I mean, he went to Curry's camp, and of course, Curry identified him from a style of play and a level of work that he could be committed to. And there's some really good video of Steph and Keisei having conversations and their reactions to one another. So yeah, no, go, feel free. That is the international pull. That is the social media following. That is the mega media darling. And look, not for nothing, and no slight to anybody here or else on the roster at University of Nebraska, but it's Keisei's world. We're just living in it. I mean, there's nothing like and again, I'm just recently around. I watched some NBA dudes come to Lincoln, Nebraska and play. nobody gets the reaction that Keisei does. One, he plays with a smile, but even while he's smiling at you, he's outworking you. It's a really cool thing to watch. And listen, he's a shoot like Hoss. You understand shooters. He's a shooter who happens to be a really good scorer as well. I track his shooting from 2-point land rather than 3. 3 is the obvious because his range is off the charts. If he was in selfish mode or in a different mode, he would have the sort of access to shots that Caitlin Clark has in the women's game. He just doesn't take 35 shots a game. Like that, he doesn't take 30 shots a game. If Keisei was allowed and kind of cheered on to shoot 25 times a game, he'd be the leading scorer in the country. Period. Like there's no, but he's chosen. He's actually roommates with Sam Hoiberg. He's chosen to be a great team player. But that building, call that man whatever you want. Call him a star because that's what Keisei Tominaga is.
So looking at the 3-3 record, and we've talked about 500 gets you into the NCAA tournament. 500 or one game below 500. We're not trying to put any negativity out there. When you beat a number 1 seed, that gets you into the NCAA tournament. And I know there's bigger goals in our mind with the season that's going on right now, with these double-digit wins against strong teams. Looking at the 3 losses in the Big Ten, they're against good teams on the road. So they weren't bad losses. You lost in here during March in the selection time. Ooh, this was a bad loss. It was a 15-point loss at home. It was a Tier 4 team at home. No, these were Wisconsin 6-0 in the Big Ten. That's a great team to lose to. Iowa 8-1 at home. So those are not bad losses.
Yeah, we went through that early season and we kind of paid attention because those are the games that get you. Like they've gotten Nebraska in the past, that they slipped up in some of those early season games, and you're not really mad at the Creighton loss other than it's your in-state rival. You beat a Michigan State team that, listen, Michigan State's 9-6 and still getting top 30 poll. Look, man, no, you beat Tom Izzo. Like you did your thing, and then you went to Manhattan, Kansas, and laid a thump down on Kansas State. And so you're right. At the end of the season, what you're doing is building resume, and the resume should tell you that any team that's playing 500 ball in the Big Ten Conference and can beat the number 1 team in the country, it's beating everybody it's supposed to, and it's beating some of the people it's not supposed to. So 13-4 and 3-3, they're in a very good place. Now, again, we all know that a Big Ten season is a marathon, and it's a work. It's a full story that tells itself and then retells itself on a regular basis, on a game-to-game basis. That's what we've buckled in for Husker fans. The same thing on the women's side. Like Amy Williams has them playing well, but we know that this is a marathon. It doesn't, it's never given easily. This is not, they're not one of the Power 5 programs. So, one of the top 5 programs, but what they are is different. And both programs, men's and women's basketball, have an opportunity to rattle some cages and shake some things up. I fully expect both of them to be in the tournament as an 8 or a 9, anywhere from 7, 8, 9 seeds. And that's a step up. We're good with that in Lincoln, Nebraska, that both teams have a chance to be in the tournament and can do some damage.
Yep, and this is a team too where I think if men's or women's teams, both teams, if they make it to the tournament, you like how deep both those rosters are, and you like the defense. I stress this all the time, but your defense, you don't have to worry about that ebbing and flowing. You can bring that to the tournament. If that's a part of your culture, defense sticks with you. The shooting, that can come and go, but Nebraska, the way they play defense, the loss to Iowa, to me, it's not an excuse, but third game, 7 days, the rotations were a little bit slower. I wonder if that had to deal with it, but I do think as this defense has looked impressive for the most part. I know Iowa's going to be the game that's kind of the eyesore as of now, and the Minnesota game earlier, but as we're finding out, Minnesota might actually be a pretty decent team. But this team, with the depth they have, if they can continue to make that run, fall on anywhere 8 or 9, be fantastic. They got enough defense. And again, you don't know who that leading scorer is going to be. It could be Keisei Tominaga if he decides to take 20 shots a game. But if you're the team scouting Nebraska, what are you trying to eliminate? You got Rink Mass, Tominaga, Sam Hoiberg, CJ Wilcher. You got so many guys on that list can go off at a moment's notice. It's not necessarily an easy game to go ahead and write up a script for. Then Nebraska was able to beat Purdue because we saw Zach Edey, and we're like, we can eliminate Zach Edey. This is going to give that Purdue offense a lot of woes as to how they try to operate. When it comes to Nebraska, there's not really that one guy you can shut down and think you got the offense solved. So with the depth that this team has, the defense they're playing, which you don't really have to worry about coming and going the same way you have offense, you know, you could be looking at a tournament and possibly, as crazy as I say, get that first tournament win for Nebraska, start some history. We've had some NBA guys in the past. It's been a great start. You're 5 under Fred Hoiberg. You got some guys to the league. Now it's time to get that first tournament win. And I still got all the optimism in the world for this team and the women's team for that matter.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you guys are bringing up the women's team. I was at a 40th birthday party last night, and we were talking about Kobe Bryant and how the saddest part was the evolution that he was going to create for the WNBA and the number of people that are needed to fill his shoes from an NBA perspective to change the game for the WNBA is just far too significant. It's going to take 20, 30 NBA players to equal what Kobe was going to do for the WNBA. So, but stuff that we talk about for women's basketball, I mean, we have to, because they're so good. They deserve the attention. So bravo to the Ticket for always bringing up and putting the women's sports on the pedestal as a girl dad. I love hearing that. One more thing on the men's team. When you look through the Big Ten records and you look at the home records, just listen to this real quick. 9-1, 9-1, 9-0, 10-1, 8-1, 11-1, 11-1. I'm going to keep going. 8-2, 8-1, 9-1, 8-2, 8-1, 8-2. And then there's one team that has more than 2 losses, and that's Michigan. They're 3-4 at home. Everyone else has those records at home. So going on the road in the Big Ten is not an easy task.
No, and that's a great point, Haas. And that's something even the announcers brought up, even though in that Iowa game, it wasn't the biggest fan base. Iowa, they're 8-1 at home. They were 7-1 before playing us. So that is the Big Ten. And that's the kind of cannibalism we always talk about with these Big Ten opponents, always kind of devouring each other up in conference play. It'll be interesting, though, when we get to the tournament, who that Big Ten team is that's going to represent the conference as a whole. DP, when you look at the Big Ten, out of all these basketball schools, and Haas, I'll let you get your answer to this too. As of right now, I know it's pretty early, but is there any strong contenders in the Big Ten that you feel like have a good shot of representing the Big Ten and making a deep run? People always want to say Purdue, but it just hasn't been that for their past few seasons due to weird reasons. You can name it whatever it is, but they've come up short. Tom Izzo, you feel really great about, but they're having a rough start to the season. Are there any of these Big Ten teams you feel really confident about?
It's Purdue. It's Purdue. They didn't play poorly even in the loss to Nebraska, and then their bounce back was exceptional. So listen, when you have an Edey, it is a difference maker. As much as you can change, sometimes it's matchups, right? If you get a team against you that has exactly what can beat you. Everybody's beatable in college basketball this year. There's no super. I mean, you look at it, 1, 2, 3, and 4 all lost this week, and none of them played poorly in doing so. They just played against a team that played well. That's going to be college basketball this year. There'll be some balance and equity. I think that's the way to go through it. But if I had to choose one team, it's because of the player, and Edey's the player that. Not everybody has three big dogs that they can throw at him like you can in the Big Ten. Like the Big Ten allows that. And listen, shooting comes and goes. Defense translates. Purdue's a really good defensive team. They just had a tough night against Nebraska. So they're the team that I would look at the most. Everything else, I mean, you looked at Wisconsin and Iowa, and they did some things Indiana has some players. You can never write out Tom Izzo. You can never write him off. But Purdue is the one that I would lean on if you put my feet to the fire and said pick one from the Big Ten. It's still Purdue.
Yeah, I think I'm still looking at Purdue as well. And I don't know if it's so much the style of what it is when they get to turn with those unfortunate losses. I feel like when it comes to conference play and the parity we're seeing between them gets more and more similar as the years go by. I do think the conferences the games are becoming positionless. So I do think that'll kind of go away with the Big Ten not being able to, quote unquote, be able to play in the tournament. But Haas, looking at all those teams, I was kind of along the same wavelengths. I was looking at Purdue, Wisconsin as well, just because they have the shooting and the size to make a run as well. But out of those two teams, or any other teams you want to throw in the mix, maybe even in Illinois, but we'll throw it to break here after that. But give me your thoughts on the Big Ten and teams you think have a good shot to make a deep run in the tournament.
So defense is important, but we talked about the reason why teams succeed in the NCAA tournament is the shooting, it's the leadership, it's the ability to control the ball. So if you turn the ball over, it leads to easy baskets. And so the reason why defense is important is to prevent easy baskets. So ball control, defense, shooting. The team with the highest three-point percentage, I don't know if it's surprising or not, it's actually Purdue. When I always hear Edey, I don't think of three-point shooting, but if you get the ball into the middle of the floor and you get it back out, those are the easiest three-pointers to make. And so with that, it might be the year, because we talked about it, I think 2-3 weeks ago when DP wasn't there. We went over the last 7-8 years, and there wasn't one team from the Big Ten in the Final Four. And so the style of play in the Big Ten is different than other conferences. But this year, Purdue might be playing a little bit differently because they have the players to do it. So, yes, I agree with Purdue.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. Definitely see if Purdue can finally get it done this year. They've been predicted to do so in years past, but this will be a good attempt. See if they can get into the Final Four. But they still got plenty of college basketball ahead of them. So does Nebraska as well. With that being said, though, we'll go ahead and throw it to break. Hold on. Go for it.
Before you go to break, hey, we all said Purdue.
Yeah.
But we beat them, and we beat them by double digits.
So Nebraska making it to the Final Four. We'll throw the break here. This is The Breeze. We got Haas on the Allo VIP line where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. We got the other host, DP, streaming in as always. Don't go anywhere. We got a couple more segments here on The Breeze on this cold Sunday afternoon. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rashawn Jackson, the captain here for The Body Shop. And man, did they hook me up with a great massage recently. The captain has a lot of stress in his life, as many people do. And for 1 hour, it was all relieved. The team at The Body Shop gave me a deep tissue massage that hit every area that I was in pain at. Whether you're looking for a Swedish massage, sports massage, deep tissue, hot stone, aroma, or more, there's only one place to go. The Body Shop at 48th NA. Book an appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, "Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket," and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, as always, DP streaming in, and Haas on the Allo VIP line. DP, were you able to make it down to SmackDown Friday?
Yeah, we made the decision late in the day. We got the front row seats for it, and so myself, Jake Sorensen, Eric Strickland, and Bach, we all went and had a really good time. It just it's interesting. I mean, one, it was a blizzard, for crying out loud. Like it's a blizzard, and so you think, okay, there's a problem. People aren't going to show up. Like, not because they don't want to, because they can't. And there was a last minute push for people like, what do we do? We're in Iowa. We can't get there. What do we do? What do we do? But they still showed up. And what happens is the wrestlers then show appreciation and to shout out a few who went the extra mile and did some basic things. And there was, of course, there's an injury during the Austin Theory match where both guys took headers and they literally stopped the match. You saw the official throw up the sign that, hey, listen, we have injuries to do that. And so that kind of set the crowd off a little bit, and it's a create your juice kind of night because it's cold and everybody's bundled up, and you're super bundled up for that one. But Cody Rhodes, being Cody Rhodes, stayed late, did a full 5-minute mic session at the end of the night, stayed, made the rounds around the rail, took pictures, signed autographs, the whole thing. He actually asked the WWE to take off a turnbuckle and gave it away to one of the fans. Randy Orton did a full 5-minute signing, picture taking sort of deal. It was a quality night. I mean, Roman didn't make it to town. Some of the performers didn't make it to town, but they put together a really good show, especially considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I was curious. I know with the weather, that's going to change a lot of things, especially down around where you're. Anytime you're down around the PBA, Devaney, when it's tough weather, that's tough traffic getting around. Will definitely deter some people, but it's great there's still a crowd for it, and the wrestlers sound like they really appreciate it. Haas, watching from afar, I know you weren't down here in Lincoln. What are your overall thoughts? SmackDown Friday night.
So it's nice to get DP's perspective and DP's videos and DP's texts, and just seeing that Jey Uso was there. Obviously, Cody being Cody, it was pretty cool that they showed Lincoln that much love, and they're regularly in Lincoln. So DP's talked about it a lot for WWE to understand that Lincoln is a place to be, and there's a lot of wrestling. We've talked about it week after week. That's pretty cool that the WWE understands that. And with that, it was one of their better shows, despite Roman Reigns not being there, despite The Rock not being there. Oh man, how cool would that have been if The Rock showed up to Lincoln, DP?
Yeah, no, Lincoln wasn't ready for The Rock. That wasn't that wasn't going to happen. Rhea Ripley didn't make it. There are some that didn't make it. Finn Balor didn't make it. Dominic didn't make it because some of you're traveling in from other places and from other shows and from other events, and it's just difficult. There are folks who didn't make. Drew McIntyre didn't make it in. That was originally the thing that was considered, whether he could make it, whether one of them could make it in by the end of the show, so that they could add value to it, but it just wasn't there, and the crowd was just appreciative. Like, oh no, y'all made it too. Like they know how hard they worked to get there. And the fact that there was, an actual wrestling match at the University of Nebraska, number four Nebraska versus number 2 Iowa. So it was a big deal to have that in. Plus there's a track meet earlier in the day. Plus the men were playing at 8:30. So listen, it's a great showing. It's a great event. It was a great night, great crowd. They sold, man, the number of Yeet and no Yeet shirts that were being sold that night were fantastic. Also, there was a Randy Orton special pullover that was sold out, and it actually sold out pretty quickly. They made it special for Lincoln, and it sold out even before the matches started. Like the lines were 8 deep everywhere. So it was a pretty good night at PBA.
So you brought up the Judgment Day not being there, and it would be, you can't just say, hey, Raw people weren't there, because 2 of the biggest Raw people were there. It made me reflect for a second when you said the Judgment Day, and it made me go back to the last couple of years. And 2 of the fan favorites in the last couple of years that came out of nowhere, that were major surprises, were LA Knight and Sami Zayn. Is R-Truth going to get to that level?
Well, this was what was interesting. So, while Rhea didn't make it, but Damian Priest did, and they put Damian Priest in a match with Jey Uso, which I was like, whoa, okay. And then they let Jey Uso win clean. And I was like, what just happened? And easily enough, it was Damian Priest's best performance in a calendar year. He showed more personality, more style and charisma in that loss than he had all year. So it was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting that happened. The ladies had a really good match. Bayley and Bianca Belair, their match was really good. I'm always curious about why why the champion isn't wrestling. Like you got to standing outside the ring. I don't understand it. And then R-Truth is pulling a bit of the Sammy, right? Because we went down that path. That's how Sammy became Sammy. Was when he was outside of a faction, then he started to show some of his personality, and people bought in. So Kevin Owens was there. Great night for him. Great night around the ring for him. He did some really cool stuff. So yeah, it was R-Truth is going to be R-Truth. Like he's never going to be the guy, but he's always going to be around because the fans love him because he's there to entertain and he always pulls it off.
And then I read that Logan Paul is suing Kevin Owens.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing because he got hit with a cast, so Kevin had his hand broken, and the fact that they're both playing on it, and yeah, they're both playing on it in full, right? It makes for good entertainment. It makes for really good comedy. First of all, it does. It's just really good. They're both on top of their mic game and their vignette game, so. It's saving some of it. I'm not sure what they do to at the end of it, but I like where it's at now. Is that they're playing. Listen, you hit me with a cast on, and you bruised up my eye, and he really did have some orbital problem right there on the bone. But yeah, it's all a work, but it's a really good work.
Just another storyline to follow. Haas, go ahead before we go to break here.
So real quick, and let's give this 2 or 3 minutes. DP, who was the MVP in WWE last year?
Last year?
Yes, in 2023.
The MVP was Seth Rollins.
I disagree. I think it was Rhea Ripley.
No, you can't give her that without her having headlined or been the main draw for the big shows. You can't fill a building because Rhea Ripley is in the main event. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Business was still being done, and Seth was the continual flow for all of it. Seth was the thing that they built it around and moved it around. Cody, it's Seth 1A and Cody 1B. Rhea's
I'll give you Cody.
Rhea's third, fourth, maybe because it's still Roman. Because Roman sells the big houses and big events. And so you can't be the MVP. You had a good year. I'll give you that. You had a good year. But no, nobody would have gotten out in the snow to go see Rhea Ripley face anybody.
I disagree. I would have flown. But the problem is, there isn't a storyline being created for her on the women's side. There's storylines being created for her being the leader, but not on the women's side. So it's really interesting, really quick before we go to break, who do you want to win the Women's Royal Rumble?
Here's the real problem. The person that should is Bianca.
Oh, let me do it. Are you about to say who I'm going to say? Sasha Banks?
No, because I'm not. I don't care that much, and that's the thing about Rhea. That, like, if it's Nia Jax and you haven't sold her or pitched it, I don't know, and I don't particularly like. Io Sky has the belt, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. So I don't think they're doing what they think they're doing with the divisions. You've put them in a place that you cannot highlight or feature either of those championship belts and get the response or reaction that you want. It's just not going for me.
Harrison, I got you. 5 more seconds. The only way to make that belt more relevant is to kind of go back to a Revolution and bring back someone. Maybe it's an AJ Lee. Maybe it's a Sasha Banks. But right now, the stories have become stale, and they haven't given the women the proper attention or respect. So I feel you on that.
Agreed.
I just wanted to bring it up because
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well said. A little telling there too, Haas. You won't come down to Lincoln, but apparently if Rhea Ripley's in town, then you'll make the trip. So that's a little telling.
Get him, Harrison. Get him, Harrison. Get him, Harrison.
Not like we got this nice brand new studio. We're eager for you to come and check out. But nonetheless, Haas, when you do come to Lincoln, you'll definitely have to go ahead, check out PBA, basketball team, volleyball team. As DP said earlier, it's just a great time to be a Husker in general. But nonetheless, we'll throw it to break. This is The Breeze. We got DP streaming in, Haas calling in, the host as always. I'm Harrison back here at the studio on the ones and twos. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Discover a healthier, happier you with Weight Loss Professional Nutrition. We are not about quick fixes, but real, sustainable change. With our advanced nutrition plans, expertly designed by our certified nutritionists, we're with you at every step on your weight loss journey. Step into the world of well-being with Weight Loss Professional Nutrition, where we believe in the power of smart diet choices. Visit weightlossprofessionalnutrition.com today or call 800-597-3991 to get 30% off your first month and start your transformation. A new you is just a click away or a call to 800-597-3991.
I believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
I used to be a weight guy. I used to love weight.
You've never been a weight guy. That's a lie.
Let me tell you something.
You've never been a weight guy.
I was in a 300-pound club
No,
in
sir.
high school.
Yes.
No, sir.
Are you kidding
Yes.
me? That 315 pounds would have sent him through the. It'd have been 6 feet under trying to figure out how to get up out that hole.
That's how
you ain't never been nowhere near that platform to get up there for lifter of the year.
I don't want to be lifter of the year. I
So
want to be
how
the player of the year. Who wants to be a lifter of the year when you want to be the player of the year? Nobody care about weight.
Husker fans, your Nebraska wrestling team needs you at the Bob Devaney Sports Center for a Big Ten matchup on Sunday, January 21st against the Purdue Boilermakers. The duel will begin at 1 p.m., and the first 200 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling blanket. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
If Ewers throws that ball to the front pylon, Texas might have tied that game up and had a chance to win it.
That moment right there, it's one of those moments that every young man dreams about. There's two outcomes in that moment. You're a gamer or you tense up.
You're a gamer, you're a goner.
Or you're a goner.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to Tick Weekends. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos back here at the 1040 Ticket Studios, which are open, by the way. It is a freezing Sunday afternoon here. So again, if you're cold, you're walking around downtown, head to the mill, grab yourself a warm cup of coffee, hang out, meet some of the on-air talent. And of course, always feel free to chime into the shows, even if you're not here in studio. 402-464-5685. And of course, we got the host, Haas, calling in as well. But Haas, we've already had a few NFL wildcard round playoff games under the belt. We got 2 today, 2 more tomorrow. Where do you want to go in terms of these NFL playoffs?
I was talking to some guys last night, and one of the guys was talking about, and it's obviously easy to have these conversations after the fact, but he's talking about how Miami was his Super Bowl dark horse. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Let's just hold on a minute. Tua is Samoan from Hawaii and played in Alabama and just is always in this warm weather. And we're going to be in negative 28-degree weather, but they have Tyreek Hill. Okay. So Tyreek Hill's fast, and I get that. But what happens when you're freezing? What happens to your muscles? You become less fast. And so I always believe the best quarterback in football can carry any team. And now people are starting to believe in Kansas City again. And I kind of feel bad that I put that out there because as a 49er fan, I do not want to chase Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and I know DP doesn't like to talk about scripts and refs, but Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl with referees in awe of him is always a scary sight.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. After the Dolphins lost to the Bills, that was pretty much the end of their season for me. Knowing that they had a Kansas City Chiefs matchup, knowing that being KC, you talked about the weather. With Tua, it's just kind of been an up and down year for him again. I do wonder, do you think, are we going to hear, can Tua throw the deep ball again? Conversations this offseason? Because there's been a few times. So go for it.
It's weird. Watching some of his throws, him and Penix, they have this like 8-yard out throw or 8-yard flat throw that they throw that should be a pick six. I'm so confused that's an NFL quarterback's throw. And it could just be a one-off. I've seen it 2 or 3 times, but it was shocking to me that Tua was making throws like that. Maybe he couldn't grip the ball. I don't know. But it got his receivers hit hard last night.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It is an interesting year. Sometimes too, especially when you're playing KC, when you're throwing it that high up in the air, if it's just the trajectory, like it's just not a place where you want to be putting the ball with that much hang time, knowing how it's going to work around in the air. But nonetheless, DP, what are your thoughts on the Dolphins-Chiefs game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-off. It's a one-off for you played in weather conditions. Listen, I walked outside yesterday. The Dave Remington Awards were here in Lincoln, and again, it was another thing to show how sports fans in Lincoln react and respond. That they went out in what was 10 below, that ended up being 16 below by the time the event ended, with wind chill of minus 30 and minus 34. That people show up in this stuff. And we talking about just walking across the street to get to the venue. Playing football in that weather, No, man. No. Whatever your tendency is, whatever your human nature is, it doesn't exist in that weather. Like, okay, you got to play in it. I think it's terrible. Put a dome on it already. Just for the quality of the play. Nobody needs to experience it. Nobody needs to play in that. Nobody needs to stand in that. You're asking fans to pay money and go stand in Antarctic conditions. So whatever Tua's tendencies are, none of it was in play last night. Like, you can't judge the whole season by it. It just is. I mean, Dolphins fans are mad, but listen, 5 weeks ago, you were a team to beat. You just didn't finish. You're closer than 90% of the league. Like, you can't go and throw everything under the bus because the last 4 weeks when people are injured and people are out of the way and you got some bad circumstance. Look, I'd love to be a member of the Miami Dolphins. I'd love to have that situation to play in and live in. It just wasn't your year. Okay. There's only going to be one team, one quarterback who at the end of this thing gets to say that, yeah, I had a plan for everything. One. That's it.
Yeah, and one's hoping to make their way back, and Jalen Hurts. But Haas, I want to ask you, we don't have a ton of time here left, but the games remaining on the schedule: Packers, Cowboys today, Rams, Lions tomorrow, Steelers, Bills, and Eagles, Buccaneers. Out of those 4 games left, which one of you reeks upset, or are you just going straight paper or straight chalk on these last 4?
The only one that doesn't reek upset is the Bills game. It's the only one. Every other one. And hold on a second. Is the Bucs winning an upset or the Eagles winning an upset?
I think it's a Buccaneer winning the upset, but I am rolling with Baker Mania in that one.
And so with A.J. Brown out, and I don't know if A.J. Brown being out with all the drama he's created in the last 4 or 5 weeks, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Never missing one of your best players, DP will say, come on, Hoff, stop it, Hoff. Missing one of your best players, that's never a good thing. So the Rams, they've been on fire, and I'm aware of the 49ers rest of their players, so that win doesn't necessarily count in my book. The Cowboys don't know how to win in the playoffs, let alone the first round of the playoffs. With that, the Packers are actually playing really well, and so if the Packers can get up, get a lead, and run the ball, the 6th and the 7th seed in the NFC should be winning.
Yeah,
should be winning.
I think the Packers got to score 28. Obviously, I'm going to be biased. I don't see the Packers winning this one at all. One day I'll be on Pete Ferguson's sideline and root for the Cowboys. But yeah, looking at all those games, the game that is kind of eye-popping to me is obviously that Eagles-Buccaneers game. But DP, before we get out of here, your thoughts on the remaining playoff games and which one to you is the most intriguing?
I think the home teams are winning all 3 of these just because. The comfort of not having to deal with travel and fans and family and all the other things, and being able to get food and playing in they're indoor games. Philadelphia will be a little bit different, and it's the same thing that applies. You're Tampa. You're going to Philly in the Northeast at a night game when it's really cold. Good luck, bro. Have fun. So I'm going to go all home team dressed away.
It's at home for Tampa, so Tampa Bay.
They're down in Tampa. Well, that's an advantage. But
that probably
I think the home teams win all the games. So there's that. Home conditions in the wild card matter.
Wow, I'm surprised. I think we all pretty much agree.
The home teams have been so fire at home, Detroit, Dallas including.
Mm-hmm.
But you just upset city. It's going to happen.
Yeah, if it is, it's Monday night, but I'm good with all of this. Take the home teams and let it ride.
Let it ride, they will. And that's going to be it for The Breeze. I'm Harrison Arns back here at the 1040 Ticket Studios. We've had Haas joined us by the Allo VIP line, really understand the importance of exceptional heart importance of local service with an exceptional heart. And DP, host is always streaming in. Don't go anywhere. We got the Nico Project up next, as well as the rest of our Sunday Ticket Weekend coverage. We'll talk to you in a little bit.